Hi guys, this is Mohit Singh, and today we'll be looking at leetcode prompt 1337, the k weakest rows in a matrix. So in this prompt, we've been given a matrix consisting of ones and zeros. The ones are representative of soldiers, and the zeros are representative of civilians. Our goal is to find the weakest number of links, find the k number of weakest links, and the weakest links are defined by if the row I, for example, I is the zero index of matrix, and j is the first index of matrix. The weaker one would be would be 0 because it has less soldiers than the first index of matrix. In a case where we have 0 and 3 like this, where they both have the same number of soldiers and they're both lower than the rest, then the index that comes first, in this case 0, would be weaker than the index 3. So we get a matrix and we get a number. The number k is asking for the indexes of the weakest number of k. So if k is 3 in this case, we want to return 3, and they need to be sorted from weakest to strongest. So we're going to return the 3 weakest out of all the rows. So in this case, the output would be 2, 0, 3. So 0, 1, 2. In this one, we only have one soldier protecting 4 civilians. So it's the weakest. None of them only have 1 except the second index. And then we have a tie between the 0 index and 3, as I mentioned before. 0 comes before because it's the first index compared to 3. It's a lower index than 3. So our job is basically just to return a list that has the weakest 3 k link lists in matrix, and just return them in order of weakest to strongest. So let's now try to code this. So we'll go through a simplified version and a more efficient version. So a simplified way of doing is that we could set up a temporary list. I'll just call it temp. And then now we can just go through all the rows and values in matrix. So we could use the enumerate function, which basically returns a tuple of the index and the value of that index. So we can do something like for row soldiers in enumerate of mat, which is matrix. So by doing this, in each value of this, we get a tuple of row and soldiers. So now we could just append to the temporary value the sum and the row. So let's just do temp dot append sum and row. So the issue with this is that dot append only takes one value, and right now it's reading this as the first value as sum of soldiers and then row. So we just need to add another bracket parentheses around it so it returns one value, being this whole tuple. So now temp is a list full of tuples which have the sum of soldiers in each row. So after this, we could to put it in order, we could just do a simple temp dot sort. So temp dot sort will return the sorted sorted sum of soldiers and the row that it is in. But we don't want to return the sum of soldiers, we just needed that to sort it, and now we just want to return the k number of weakest rows. So to do this, we could set up an out list, which will return the output, and in this we could do for let's do index is not a keyword. I don't think it is. It might be. Let's just play it safe and just go with val. So if val in temp And here we're gonna do colon k, so we get the second value in the tuple of temp in each value of temp. And with that, we could just append to the value, which is in it. I'll type it out and it'll make more sense. Out.append val of 1. So basically what we're doing is that we have our list, temp, which is tuples of sum of soldiers and rows. We only want to add to our output, let me do this. We only want to add to our output the index of the rows, so we're going to do val of 1, which is going to be the second value in the tuple, which is the index, not the sum. So by doing this, we now have it sorted and the values are in. So now all that we need to do is return out, and that should be correct. Return out. On that. Yep, so it works. So this way it works, but there is a more efficient way where we could just get rid of all of this code. So basically, all we have to do is just change the return statement. So let's just get rid of that. And in the return statement, we just have to do list. And then in here we could do val. Here, let me put back the previous, Okay, we could do return. We're just simplifying the return state, the for loop, so we can get rid of this. I'm just going to keep this up for reference. So we could do for val of, for val of 1. So val of 1 for, val in temp of k. Temp of colon k, because we want the second value, or the first index. So by doing this, we could just get rid of the out list entirely, and it's going to take up less space. So it's basically doing the same thing we made with that for loop. So it goes through for val in each value of temp, specifically the index, and then it returns that index. And it's in a list, so it's going to return the list. So let's try that. Hopefully I didn't make any errors. And yep, so that works. Let's submit it and see how it did. Yep, so it works. It's faster than 91% of submissions. So this is just one way I was able to solve this, but there's several ways you could try out. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.